What's good YouTube, and welcome to the house. I guess you could really say some of these prices are jumping around. All puns and jokes aside, the jump promos are getting heavily targeted on markets where almost every single one is skyrocketing. I would actually suggest getting some of them right now even, but let's go and show you how uneducated some of these buyers are, throwing their money against the wall and not really looking around. I love snapshots like that in the market. Also, I want to start with the character cards because I've always respected these from an investment standpoint. You have really amazing iconic art on a card that just looks amazing, and people even go after fake cards like this, like the Maximilian Pegasus, because they wanted something like this in the game so bad for so long. And you have speed duels, dueling skills, you know, you can't use them on all of Yu-Gi-Oh! They have the edgier art. I wouldn't really compare them to playable cards within the game. Playable, by the way, we'll get into that in a second. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Friendship, let's start here. Jokingly, I got banned from Dueling Book for a week. This card is at $100 or $99.99, and you can see that people really don't want to make that sales rate right now. But the question is, where does somebody go? I gotta get my card. I was too late. I want this. I shouldn't have slept. Is it $50? Is it $25? You see the market price was $21. Where are people actually going to eat up the near mints of this off market? Your guess is as good as mine. I would personally call it falling back towards 30, 35, but I really don't know. Unity has fallen out so much faster, despite having more characters and still a really amazing moment from the show. You see that Unity falls out to the point of $19, $20 after its buyout, just like that. So many people were ready for this one despite it having had multiple buyouts. And then Judgement of the Pharaoh, the man who actually wags his finger and says no, the effect does something pretty insane. Similarly, where if you Foolish Burial Goods a Yu-Gi-Oh! Friendship, you can pay half your life points, and if you have the Yu-Gi-Oh! Friendship in your graveyard until the end of this turn, your opponent cannot normal summon, set, flip summon, or special summon a monster's or activate an effect monster's effect, and their monster effects are negated. That's pretty absurd. That's actually pretty crazy. Is it going to find this 3-card combo into the meta anytime soon? Absolutely freaking not. But people aren't going after these cards for their effects. They're going at, well, they are actually really funny effect. If there was a joke set, I think this would kind of be it. But you see it towards $75 and then $100 for the near mints, with some of the damaged ones lingering on market. When it comes to these cards, they're really freaking cool, but they're certainly not worth this. Just chill out and wait. Let me show you how crazy people are going for jump cards. Wow, JMPS Stratos is bought out to the $46. It's almost like the ultimate rare. Man, people really bought this out. I've had multiple people tell me that Jump Stratos was bought out. You know, there's actually a Stratos that says JUMP Jump on it, and it hasn't been targeted at all, and you can get these for $5. It hasn't been bought out. People just don't know to scroll down on TCG Player. There's a similar funny thing here. Keep in mind, the JMPS got bought out and the Jump was left alone because the Jump version of Apprentice Illusion Magician appears first on TCG Player. It's bought out to the point of $64 to $74. And the JMPS version, which is what Stratos had bought out, is left almost completely alone. It's barely above market price. You have multiple people with multiple listings of this at a fair price point for what this card is. And then you have another ultra rare of this card, you know, in the legendary decks, and then you have a super rare. This has had many reprints, but it's funny that people are only going after one version of these, not bothering to scroll down and see that there's a direct comparable on the market. It's hilarious to me, and I love seeing people just throw their money at the screen without knowing what they're doing. Hopefully, it's not anybody in my audience, but if you did, hey, at least you should have used my TCG Player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to do a little bit of good and support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. I just hope it really wasn't any of you guys. Now, let's take a small look at what a sponsor is doing before getting back into the jump promos. Oh yes, there's many more. We have the new Gemstone Myths playmat, which is Adamanticators, and I gotta say, Midnight Dreams is really upping his ability on his art. These monsters look incredible. He's done a really good job. Do we call these tamers? What do we call these? But he's done an amazing job on this playmat. Very affordable, and of course, you can use code WhatsGood, actually 10 here, What's good 10 to get yourself 10% off over on the website. Also, recently done, I brought this up once before, but I still really like this stained glass Madolche playmat. There's multiple new designs on the site. Go and check those out. Jump Obelisk has always been interesting to me because it's a secret rare jump promo, very similar to the GB promos that people tend to go for. GB also has Ultra, which is kind of less desired. You have the secret rares, which people really want, and these cards were often faked, but there's not a single near mint copy on the market. I think this is a great looking one, but do know that the GB1 version is more desired overall and has always beat this version on the market just for that little set number. Ultimaya Olkin is rebought out to ridiculous proportions. Please let me know if there's some crazy synchro deck I should be knowing about. I know that everyone's chanting for Needle Fiber to be banned, and that synchros are the bane of everybody's existence right now in terms of that engine putting up free negates on the board, but I haven't really seen Zolkin going too crazy. Is there something in future gameplay I should be keeping an eye out, or is it just one of those, yeah, it kinda sorta does something and we'll see some niche play in the metagame? I would suggest EXO Deus and getting this sooner than later. There's very few jump promos I would suggest, especially with how things are inflated, but this is an Exodia card and he's still towards his market price of $18. So if you are looking to collect something, I think that getting this one would be prudent. He does kind of reset your graveyard and resources back into the deck on summon, but if you do it in early combo, he can definitely do some crazy things. And on attack, I believe he's a foolish burial. Yeah, you send one monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, so he does a little something extra, has a really thick level, but overall, this used to be a combo extender in World Chalice, which is where he originally got his buyouts and price hike. This is just a collectible piece of Yu-Gi-Oh! History, and I could see it getting targeted in multiple ways, similarly to Shooting Quasar, which was targeted in recent history and has actually fallen back out to be very reasonable. Now, he does have a matching ultra rare as a, I believe it was the 5Ds collection, had it as an ultra promo, but people do tend to go towards the jumps, and a lot of people have fond memories with this card, so if you didn't know, it's cooled back down. Well, it ain't towards that 50 anymore, and you can even see from iconic cards like this, these are cooled down prices from previous buyouts. That's why I say some of these are borderline ridiculous, and to chill out on them, no matter what you think they are, chill out a little. These are actually fallout prices from before versus them trying to hold the line at 50. They're not suddenly, oh, I have a $50, $100 card. Think about your sales rates, but there are certain times to pick these up, and with this fallout, I would think soon. I've also noticed a lot of number hunters in my comment section lately. A lot of people saying they're going to get max rarity numbers that they've been hoarding, and I noticed in the lower rankings of jump promos, these are jumping up to almost double their market price for these. So people really are out here number hunting and making those calls. I've been listening to you guys and actually taking a look at more number cards. I'll continue to include those on Market Watch. But Zexal was the next great boom to Yu-Gi-Oh! And you're having those people now get out of college, have money, have jobs, even despite the state of what's going on outside. And you're seeing them actually start to collect. And number hunting is not very unpopular. In fact, it's gaining a lot of traction. One card that hasn't gone up at all that is just $1 that I could see being $5 for past format play, that is his highest rarity. You have number 30 Acid Golem, and he is still only $1 because people like to make fun of him and his restrictions, yet he does appear in multiple past formats as a big boy beater. So this is something that would be a penny stock investment, I would think, that I could see easily being $5 like the other guys at some time. But this is a ridiculous win con that's really funny, and then the gimmick puppets, they've actually never been that bad. And finally, Blue Eyes White Dragon has been bought out for its jump promo, which I find surprising. I have like 8 of these that I would consider getting graded that maybe versus centering might be 9s, but I would think could be 10s, and you just see, oh, victory game, vintage values at 200, but the thing is, this was bought out before he even listed, so he probably just happened to have one. When it comes to this card, it is iconic to have the world behind Blue Eyes, but nothing is directly happening with Blue Eyes. You're just seeing a ton of Blue Eyes buyouts. So if you have these, maybe list them and try to get some kind of actual sales rate. You see that it was at $8, maybe list yours at $25, unless you think this is a very good long-term keep versus trying to get $25 on market. And finally, a shout out. It doesn't always have to be a sponsor. People think I'm very self-interested when I'm bringing you stuff, despite, you know, in the past 2 weeks, me showing stuff like Amazon sales on a certain set, or me bringing up dude being on Walmart for the cheapest, where obviously people were making jokes. I tried What's Good 5 at Walmart, it didn't work. Not sponsored. I'm also no longer sponsored by ARG, but I can recognize a good sale when I see one. I see some very unique sealed products, like this is almost half versus anywhere else on market for the D-Rev Special Editions. They have a pretty good price on the Raw Yellow Mega Pack Special Edition, although there are huge lots for stacks of loose Raw Yellow Mega Packs on the market, so I would look into those before deciding if I wanted to go with the special edition. And then long-term keep stuff that I'd consider, like first edition Galactic Overload, not the worst box to keep. I could see this being 120, 130 down the road. They're doing this spring moving clearance. They're actually moving from where they are, and they're just going and yeeting out a lot of rare older products. So go ahead and check out ARG. I'll link specifically this down below. I'm sure some of these will go fast, but they're going to continue to listing things up throughout the next couple of weeks from what I understand. So continue to check back for that sale. Maybe something will pop up. And I know people are like, oh, John, don't say, I'm bringing my own competition to this sale. They said they're going to release very unique items that I know I'm going to want, but I always put you guys first and foremost as my audience. I always want to have that bridge and connection to you guys, that you know I put you first. That being said, thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the conversation, and let me know what you think about these prices that are jumping around. I can't resist that pun.